It was funny because I went from early on in the office, I was the B guest. So I was the second guest.
Right.
The first guest gets
Steve.
2 segments.
Yeah.
The second guest
Yeah.
gets 1 short segment.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get bumped.
Yeah.
So I went from that and then graduated to the A, then back down to the B. And now I can't even like get
Well, how
on.
do you deal with that as a person? I mean, as a real people pleaser, that's a sign of you're not pleasing us.
And it's fine. And I really have I've been working hard on that, and it drove me crazy. If you would have talked to me 7 years ago, I was literally like pulling my hair out. Like the office has ended. I'm not getting shit. I should be in these other things. And I'm rapidly fading from the cultural conversation. And it was difficult. It was a struggle for me.
Because I don't know anyone who does this that isn't in that.
I said this to you the other day, like I could move to Montana and raise bees. Now I don't give a fuck. I really, truly don't. That's not, occasionally it'll twinge me that, the show I did didn't get picked up, or the movie that I did didn't get into Sundance, or I got rejected from this one thing that I was up for. And that hurts. It stings, but it doesn't have a hold on me the way it used to.
The recovery time's shorter.
Yeah. And I feel like I've had a good run. I did 10 years of theater. I did 20 years in Hollywood. Now I'm doing a podcast, writing some books. I'll keep acting. I mean, I still have some roles being offered me, but yeah.
Was it just getting all that inner chatter in check, kind of?
It's been a long, slow process. It has to do with my spiritual practice and meditation, with my belief in a higher power, trying to align my will with the great creative force's will. What do you call God from your ayahuasca?
The central creation force.
I try and align my will with the central creation force as much as possible. My will, Rainn's will, is to be adored, feted, A-list movie star, roles handed to me, millions of dollars, sponsorship opportunities, ad campaigns, bestseller books, best buddies with Oprah and with Greta Gerwig, and just and being feted everywhere I go. That's Rainn's will, right? But that's just trying to feed that abandoned child that wants to be adored. And it took a lot of unpacking. What is the great central creative
force?
Because there's central kitchen. That's different.
Central
that's a different
creation
thing.
Force.
Central
I
creation
give money
force.
to them. Just FYI, you wanted to know what I do.
Yeah.
I give them money.
What is it called? World Central Kitchen?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful organization.
Jose Andres.
It's amazing what they do. And they're feeding Palestinians now.
What?
Yeah. So I try and align my will with that. And that keeps me much more healthy. And I'm in a really good place right now.
Well, yeah.
Next month, who knows?
See, that's the thing with whenever I advocate for anything, I think advocacy makes it sound easy. You just go, no, you stop driving a gas car. And then, or I'm an environmentalist. Yeah, I fly private. I almost feel like that has to be built into it. Like, here's what I aspire to, and I can get there sometimes. Whereas I think if you come from a place of like fame or celebrity or success, and you just go, no, you did it. This is what you do, dumb people. I think there has to be an element of like, I aspire to this.
Yeah.
But so you're saying you aspire to humility,
I aspire to detachment.
The central creation forces will, and not.
So in Buddhism, the number one teaching is that life is suffering. That really, the word that was used was called dukkha, which is Sanskrit or Pali for anxious discontent. So life is anxious discontent. Wouldn't you kind of agree with that? When people? Yeah, Neal.
Anyone watching this? Yeah.
Centrally, anxious discontent rules a lot of us. And the Buddha taught that there is a way out of suffering, which is non-attachment. And that's the whole idea, is that if we're not attached to outcomes and the things of this world, the kind of like status, wealth, these things that drive us and that we have a lot of fears, that we will actually find great peace. So this has partially been a therapeutic journey. It's partially been a 12-step recovery journey, and it's partially a spiritual journey of non-attachment. I'm much less attached to the outcome of like whatever the hell Hollywood happens to think of me. You know, whether Judd Apatow casts me in a movie or not is not going to affect my self-esteem at this point. But it's been a long road.
With Buddhism, whenever I've approached it as something I could aspire to do, I think when people think about Buddhism, they'd go, "Well, then I'm not." So you're saying if I don't worry about status or money, I'm not going to have status or money, and I want it. I want it as an American. I want it as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I think people in tribes want to probably be like, I wish I was a little higher up in the hierarchy. I'm not going to do anything, but I aspire to that, right? I think with the thing that people don't understand about Buddhism is that you're gonna still want that.
Yeah,
you're gonna still want all the status and the hierarchy and the money and the fame and all that stuff. But at least if you have a Buddhist practice, you can release from it.
Yes,
and it's not 24 hours a day. We all know you got to make a living, but it gives you. It's a valve for yourself. It is another self-interest mechanism where I get, oh, wait, this is a way. Okay. I can be like, oh, I can be closer to the Central Creation Force and not so dogmatic about like money, fame, success, talent, women, men, whatever.
And part of it is just physiology. So at the core of our brain is the amygdala, which is like, I want to fuck. I want to be protected from the elements. I want shelter. I want nice stuff for a number of reasons. One of the things nice stuff gives us, as you can see on Instagram, is it gives us increased status because we are social creatures. And even down in that base fight flight area of the brain is also like, I want to be beloved, right? Which is my issue. And so when you can unpack those forces, the reactive forces like, no, I want, and it's anger and it's greed and it's lust and it's envy and all of that base stuff. It's all down there, and it helps us as animals. It's saved us. But then as you start moving into the prefrontal cortex, you can start to kind of have an awareness of like, oh, I'm detached. Oh, there's my lust. Oh, okay. Healthy lust is a good thing. You want to desire, you want to be desired, and you want to desire your partner or whatever. You know, healthy greed. I want to have a nice living. I want to support my family. I want to have some nice things. There's a healthy mechanism, but you can literally move that thought process from that base reactive animalistic part of the brain and start to bring it up into the prefrontal cortex. And that's where wisdom lives and abides. And that's where non-attachment is. So you're talking about having a healthy relationship to accruing things, having a nice career, and supporting your family in a healthy way. But that there's a physiological, and 12 steps does that. The addict brain is down there too. Like, I want stuff. I want to drink. I want to use this drug. I want to jack off, whatever it is. And as you go to a 12-step meeting and you share and you unpack, and as you pray and you say the 3rd step prayer, and as you make phone calls and you journal and you do your steps, it starts to go up, 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 up. And your prefrontal cortex has a greater awareness and an ability to unpack that addiction. Then when that addiction strikes, you're like, oh, hi, addict. You're trying to grab me by the throat, but I see what you're doing. I love you. I make a phone call. I say a prayer. I meditate, whatever it is. And then that impulse lifts.
Buddhism or even Eckhart Tolle or any of these, it's the basic spiritual practice is you're just going to change. You're just turning the knobs
a little bit
of your brain a little bit, and you do it every day, and it affects the overall ecosystem.
Yeah.
It gives a healthier ingredient to this, like what feels like a boiling, scalding soup. And you just go, okay, we just turn.
Right.
But it's,
But I one thing that I think bears saying for this audience, because I'm picturing the YouTube comments, like, you've got millions of dollars and you're adored and you were on The Office and like, oh, you're in Hollywood preaching to us about happiness. Like, and it's like, you know what? Unhappiness hits people that have been on sitcoms and have Netflix comedy specials and who drive trucks and who are school teachers. And it's that process is the same.
Well, yeah, but it's
money doesn't alleviate it.
Yeah.
Even though it is very nice to not have to worry about where next month's rent is going to come from, because I spent a good decade and a half in that state. So it beats the hell out of that. But, you know, unhappiness and anxiety affects us from Elon Musk down to, you know, a construction worker.
It's like when soldiers commit suicide, people are like, well, yeah, he should. But if a billionaire or millionaire commits suicide, they're like, what the fuck? It's like, guys, there's no difference.
Yeah.
There's no real difference.
Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe, and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.